Hello all. Welcome to this third lecture of Module 9 uh, of this course AG 60104. So in this class, in the last two classes of this module, uh, subsurface and design, we were discussing about the various aspects related with the subsurface drainage system. So we have introduced the concept and then we have seen the different criteria and the principle involved in the design. So in today's class, we will be talking about the design, important design variables that we need to consider, we have to consider, and the flow parameters and associated head loss. Okay. So while considering considering the drainage system, the like, or we can say, while designing a groundwater drainage system or subsurface drainage system, the relationship between most of the variables and the parameters are actually well established. But mostly the most critical part of the design is related with the interaction that takes place between the soil and the system, and also the parameters related with the soil and and the geometry. So basically the interaction between soil and system, that is more important. But in today's talk or today's lecture, we'll be talking more about what are the important design parameters and the flow patterns and associated head loss. Okay. So in the last couple of classes, we have seen that one of the important things while designing the subsurface drainage system, we have to optimize two variables. So these variables are actually the the you can say the field drainage base depth. So this is the depth of drainage base. So this is your drainage base. So these are the two pipe laterals that are installed uh, at depth W, and they are actually spaced at length L. So spacing between these two drains are actually L. So this is a then this denotes the water table. So so the center of this water table is somewhere between L by 2 from this drain or this drain. So height of this water table uh, or depth of water table below the soil surface is around H, and this is the head, total head, which is driving the flow. So which is driving the flow in this direction as well as in this direction. Okay. So the criteria for drain depth, that is W, and spacing L, that is the two important parameters, and we have to optimize this one. So the depth W and spacing should be such that the water table midway, so the water table midway between the drains. So the water table, this H should remain below the root zone. Okay. So root zone should not be submerged with the water. So that is one important criteria that we have to consider. Second, ideally, people say that the deeper the drains, wider the spacing and less number of drains. So in economical point of view, this can be considered. Then depth and spacing of the subsurface drainage system. This depth and the spacing depends on what kind of soil medium we have. What are the properties of the soil medium? Essentially, it's hydraulic conductivity. What kind of crop we have, we are going to take. What is the outlet condition and agronomic practices that we are going to follow. So these are the criteria that need to be considered while deciding the drain depth and spacing. Now, this shows the normal procedure for determination of drain spacing L. So ultimately, most of the formula, if you see Hogarth formula, any formula, basically we are determining the spacing. Okay. So this is a step-by-step or normal procedure for determination of drain spacing. Okay. So the basic design criteria for pipe system or pipe lateral for groundwater control specific uh, uh, groundwater control specifies the recharge, that is Q or discharge. This Q should be able to cope up with uh, the system should be able to cope up with this Q, and while maintaining this H. H is actually your depth of water table. So we have to formulate the basic design criteria, discharge criteria Q and H. So since we are talking about uh, if you are talking about steady state condition, then recharge is equal to discharge. So this recharge of the system should be able to cope up with while maintaining this head H. Uh, not head H, this is depth of water table H. Sorry. So this capital H is actually your depth of water table, small h is actually your head. Okay, so whatever that is your design discharge or that is discharge should be able to cope up with uh, this capital H, that is the depth of water table. Okay. So in groundwater drainage system, our sometimes our like our objective is to control to maintain the water level at desired depth. Okay. Then establishment of field drainage base, that is so once Q and H are fixed, then establishment of field drainage base W, and based on that we can calculate H. So based on W and this H, we can calculate the hydraulic head, and also of course based on L. So sorry, based on W and H, we can calculate the small h. Okay. So with that, so now we have the design discharge at H. Then establishment of soil parameters. Okay, so establishment of soil parameters. For example, the conductivity of if it is layer soil, we can have K1, K2, uh, and what kind of the soil parameters, and D, and selection of drain type. So parameters related to the drain type, like what kind of drainage system we have, pipe or ditch, and determination of wet entry parameter use of the drain. So wet entry parameters are nothing but we are going to see actually, but let's see. Yeah, so this is your wetted entry parameter, that is U. So that is related to, essentially related with uh, the drain, what kind of drain type we are going to select. So we were yeah. So yeah, so we were discussing about this figure. So this is a procedure for determining the drain spacing for parallel pipeline system. So based on the design discharge and this depth of water table, we can decide uh, the drainage base, and with that we can calculate the hydraulic the head that is going to drive the flow towards the drain, and then what kind of, depending on what kind of soil we have, soil parameters and drain type, the drain spacing can be calculated. So this can be done either by solving Ruat equation, or there are multiple equations that can be used for the purpose. So the accuracy of this calculation, irrespective of the equation that you use, is basically related with the parameters related to the soil. Okay, so like how you are calculating hydraulic conductivity and the parameters and interaction between the soil and the system. That these are the more crucial part rather than what kind of spacing formula you are using. So the drain spacing formula can be categorized into two ways: steady state formula and unsteady state formula. Steady state means the recharge is equal to discharge. So whatever recharge is happening, that is going that we are taking out as a same amount is coming out as a discharge. So level is being maintained. The steady state formula based on the assumption that the steady constant flow occurs. So steady constant flow occurs to the soil, to the drain. Okay, to the soil, to the drain, and discharge equal to recharge, and the H is also constant. So this H is constant. So recharge, so whatever recharge is happening, that is coming as a discharge. So this height of water table is maintained, or this H is maintained in the steady state formula. In unsteady state formula, these parameters vary with time. Okay, so we have two cases: falling water head and so for falling water table and fluctuating water table. So those are actually two cases of unsteady state formula. So as I said, in any event, the accuracy with which the drain spacing is calculated is basically limited by the accuracy of the soil parameter, for example, the hydraulic conductivity, rather than what formula you are using to calculate the drain spacing. Okay. Now let's see one another aspect of drainage system designing. So this is a typical pipe drainage flow pattern. Okay, so this is actually what in reality it is there, but while solving or while formulating, we are going to approximate this flow pattern in this way. So here L denotes the length or spacing between two drains. This is the height height of water table from the soil surface. So this is your capital H. This is your small h. This is your sorry. This h should not be here. Okay. So this h should not be here. And this D is actually your depth of impermeable stratum. So this is in reality how flow patterns are there, and this is the approximated form. Okay. So this figure shows the streamlines of drainage flow patterns uh, towards the two parallel. So these are the two parallel pipe drains which is shown in this figure. So the recharge that is happening. So small q is the recharge that is happening. So these are your all streamlines that are actually recharging. So this is a water table. This is unsaturated zone and this is saturated zone. So this recharge is happening here. So the recharge percolates vertically downward. So recharge percolates vertically downward uh, through the unsaturated zone, through the unsaturated zone towards the saturated zone, or towards the water table, you can say. So in saturated zone, so this is your saturated zone below the water table. The flow continues more or less in vertical direction, but soon turns in the lateral way, in lateral direction towards the drain. So, so here it is mostly vertical, and then it is horizontal or lateral flow. The horizontal flow may extend to a depth around L by 4 below the drainage base. So below the drainage base, till this depth, ideally this horizontal flow may take place. And the radial flow from this point to this point, the flow converges towards the drain. So this is actually a radial flow zone, which is approximately confined in a circle of 0.7 d. The d is actually your depth of impermeable stratum from the drainage base. So 0.7 times d is actually your circle or the radius of this conversion or the radial zone. Now, the extent of these three flow, the vertical flow, horizontal flow, and radial flow, depends on uh, this head H, this depth of this impermeable substratum D, and the spacing between. So these three parameters H, D, and L determines the type of flow that dominates. So for example, when the spacing is too large compared to H and D, so when the spacing between two drain is very large, L is far greater than H and D, then the flow will be predominantly horizontal. Whereas if L is equal to D, so in that case, it will be more a radial flow. When this H is far bigger than L, then there will be distinct vertical flow. Okay. So the total head loss, uh, which is denoted by H. So from this point to this point, if you see that this head is getting lost. So this is your zero head, and this is head is equal to small h. Okay. So the total head loss h may be visualized by being made up of the different components. So for example, vertical head loss plus so this h can be written as a sum of head loss due to vertical flow plus head loss due to horizontal flow, head loss due to radial flow plus head loss due to entry flow. So normally we select our drain and our design will be such that this HE will be close to zero. So this is ideal drain case. So our objective will be to minimize this HE. So normally it is close to zero that we have to consider. So now let's discuss this flow one by one. Okay. So these are the flow patterns. Okay. So here you can see this is a complete picture, and in the next few slides we are going to discuss each of these flow patterns one by one. So let's say these are the two drains. So this is one drain, and this is half of the drain spacing. This is L by 2 from this point to this point. You have L by 2. So this is a midway or midway of water table or midway spacing okay, where head is equal to h, and remember this h is made up of hv plus hh plus hr plus he. Okay, and there are multiple piezometers installed uh, in this uh, uh, this below the soil surface that can be used to measure the different types of flow. Here Q is actually your recharge that is happening that is happening to the which is passing through unsaturated zone and which is joining your water table. So this is your water table. So this is a midpoint. So this is a midpoint spacing. So this is the highest. This is the total H, total head H here. From here to here, head is becoming 0. So here head is equal to H. Here it is head is equal to 0. Okay. Now another thing that we have to see. So this is the D. D is actually a parameter that denotes the depth of impermeable stratum. Okay. Okay. So here you can see this total H is a combination of vertical head loss. So total head loss is a combination of head loss due to vertical flow, head loss due to horizontal flow, head loss due to radial flow, and entry flow. Okay, so now let's discuss this one by one. Sorry, this is the horizontal flow. This is one at one particular instance at distance x away from this one. This total H is actually your HV plus HS plus HR plus HE. Okay, so now let's discuss this flow pattern one by one. So right now we are going to see this pattern, this portion of this figure. Okay, so the head loss due to vertical flow. So in this case, there is a vertical flow is happening. So there is a recharge Q. Head loss due to vertical flow Q through the soil layer, which is of thickness dV. So let's say uh, this is the soil layer. So this is drainage base, and the thickness is given by dV, thickness of vertical flow. Okay, so now you have to um, so so ideally in case of uh, so in case of like in case of a surveillance system, so the vertical flow is assumed to be uh, extend from this water table. So this is your water table. So this is your water table to the drainage base depth. So this is your drainage base depth. From this point to this point, this is a zone of vertical flow or vertical flow zone, you can say. So head loss HV. So head loss HV that can be measured. So from between can be measured uh, in the form of we determine the difference between these two piezometric readings. So piezometric reading at 1 minus 2. Okay, so this is a head available here and head available here. So we can write Darcy's law here to solve the flow through porous medium. Okay. So this is your length of flow dV, okay, and HV is actually your uh, head loss due to vertical flow. So the head loss due to vertical flow Q, the head loss vertical flow Q, the Q is actually a recharge through the soil of thickness dV, that is actually uh, thickness of vertical flow zone, and vertical hydraulic conductivity K can be calculated by applying the Darcy's law here. So Darcy's law says that Q is equal to K into HV upon dV. So K is actually your vertical hydraulic conductivity, HV is actually the head loss, and dV is actually your length of flow. So Q is equal to K HV by dV. So head loss due to vertical flow can be written like this: HV is equal to Q dV upon K. So normally this vertical, uh, the head loss due to vertical flow is very small and significant only when the value of conductivity or hydraulic conductivity is very small, or we can say when the flow is passing through very poorly permeable soil, for example, heavy clay or bedding layer. So only in that case the head loss due to vertical flow is bigger. Otherwise, they are smaller. So this is your vertical flow. Now coming to the another second part, that is the horizontal flow. So head loss. So horizontal flow means this part. So from this point to this point. So from 2 to 3 is actually your head loss. So from 2 to 3 is actually your horizontal flow. So the head loss or horizontal flow, uh, the head loss, so if you want to calculate the head loss due to the horizontal flow, it can be calculated by, by finding the difference between the readings of piezometer between 2 and 3. So here, uh, so the maximum head, so this is the horizontal head loss, HH. Okay. So here it is 0, maximum head loss is observed here, HH. So this is your HH and this is your 0 horizontal head. Okay. Or you can say this HH is actually a difference between the piezometer reading between this point and this point. So that so we can write an analytical expression for this head loss, and it can be derived by considering the horizontal flow qx through vertical plane. So this is your vertical plane of unit weight. Okay. So, so let's say at any point, let's say here if you want to calculate the horizontal flow. Okay, so in that case, so let's say, so from this point to this point, the total distance is, let's say, LH by 2. From this point to this point, the distance is x. So this is your LH by 2 minus x. So from this point to this point, the distance is your actually LH by 2 minus x. So whatever recharge that is happening here, so Q multiplied by this LH by 2 minus x is actually the recharge that is happening towards the drain. Okay, so that is given by equation 1. Similarly, if you want to apply Darcy's law using the Dupuit-Franchmain assumption, that is a parallel flow line and a vertical potential line. So we can write the expression like this. So if you assume this section, so you can see, so this is your, let's say this is, so Qx, so let's say at this point, if you want to write Qx, that is the horizontal flow, is equal to K times, so K is actually your horizontal hydraulic conductivity multiplied by DH into DHX by DX. Okay, so DHX, how this horizontal head loss, how this HX is changing with respect to X. So DHX by DX actually your hydraulic gradient. This DH is actually your conceptual average thickness, which is given by the D plus H. So, sorry, D plus H by 2. So from this point to this point, this is D, and this is your total H, and this is your H by 2. So D plus H by 2. Yeah. So this is your D. So this is your D, and the conceptual like average thickness can be written as D plus H by 2. Somewhere here you can take that as a conceptual average thickness of horizontal flow zone. Okay, so that is your DH. So these two expression, if you equate these two expression and solve this for, let's say, so equating these two expression and solving the resulting differential equation for x is equal to 0, when x is equal to 0, hx is equal to 0, and when x is equal to let's say LH by 2, here hx is equal to HH. So this is your total maximum total horizontal head HH. Okay. So here x is equal to 0, hx is equal to 0. Here it is here if you see, here the x is equal to LH by 2 and hx is equal to HH. So substituting this these two limits and uh, integrating this formula, so we can arrive we can arrive at the expression of HH. Uh, the head loss due to horizontal flow is given by HH is equal to Q LH square by 8K DH. Okay, where K is the hydraulic conductivity, DH is actually your conceptual average thickness of horizontal flow. HS is actually your horizontal flow zone. And LH by 2 is LH is actually your length of horizontal flow. So interestingly, another thing you can see this DH by DX. So DH by DHX by DX becomes increasingly steeper as we go towards the drain side. Okay, and this is because because there is an increasing amount of water passes through the decreasing cross-section area, or you can say the Qx is increases h. So Qx is increases h as this hx is decreases in the direction of flow. So this shows the head loss due to horizontal flow. Coming to the next flow pattern, there is radial flow pattern. So Ernst in 1962 has derived an expression for uh, head loss due to radial flow, which is given by this equation. HR is equal to Q into L by pi k, natural log of ADR by mu, where Q is actually your recharge or design discharge, L is actually your spacing, K is hydraulic conductivity. ADR is actually your term related with the with denoted geometric parameters, and that varies with the location of the drain related to the impermeable state. So in this example, we can take this as a D. U is actually your wetting parameter, wet entry parameter, U. And this also depends on what kind of drain you have. So in this case, let's say, in case of circle, you can consider this the weighted parameter of the outer circle. U is equal to pi r naught. If the pipe is placed inside the trench, then we have to consider the weighted parameter of this one, this trench. In case of trapezoidal trench, so we have to consider the weighted parameter of this one, weighted parameter of trapezoid. So yeah, so this is actually your radial flow. Now coming to the entry flow that is taking place. Uh, so, so your entry flow is taking place quite here. So this is your drain, and inside this drain we have installed this piezometer, and one piezometer is kept just outside the this drain. So the head loss HE, the entry loss incurred in the flow through pipes surrounds the opening in the pipe, and then through this pipe opening into the pipe. So this entry loss is actually when the flow is entering into the drain, the head loss that is occurred for that region, that's actually your entry loss. So this is because the entry loss, because whatever material that is surrounded by uh, this pipe network. So our aim is to get H is close to 0, so that the total head is available to flow uh, directly from soil, available to flow to the soil. So so this H is equal to 0 is possible only when the envelope, this hydraulic conductivity of this envelope material, if it is greater than, if it is 10 times greater than the surrounding soil stratum. Only in that way we can achieve very low entry loss, or entry loss close to 0, H is equal to 0, when the envelope hydraulic conductivity is far greater than the soil hydraulic conductivity. So with that, we'll stop here. So in today's class, we have seen what are the different design variables and criteria required while choosing the drain spacing, and why soil parameters are more important. And then we have seen different flow patterns and different terminologies. So we have seen what is vertical flow, horizontal flow, radial flow, and entry flow, and associated head losses that we have discussed in this class. So in the next class, we'll start the uh, design with the steady state formula, like standard plot formula. So with that, we'll stop here for today's class. Thank you.